What's up, sports bettors? So I just added this play, 3 picks, 250 to win 1.5K on Underdog Fantasy. But now I have a pick on ThriveFantasy as well. So again, as a sharp bettor, you always want to follow the value. So one play I'm going to be giving you on ThriveFantasy is James Harden over 20.5 points. So I'm betting this minus 111 on Thrive, which has a profit margin of 3%. So you can see right here, no other sportsbook is giving us better than minus 120 on Harden over 20.5 points. In Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, they're pricing this at minus 152. So they have the over heavily favored, right? Sportsbooks imply win probabilities through their odds. So typically, when you can get a play on Thrive Fantasy in a 2-pick entry at minus 111 odds, and Pinnacle has that play minus 152, 41 cents away, that is a play you want to be all over. So again, as kind of a recap to Thrive Fantasy, Underdog Fantasy, these are technically fantasy sites, but what's fascinating is the way that they work. So the way that Underdog Fantasy works, for example, is any 2 picks you select, you see that you're betting $1 to win 3. Doesn't matter if we take lower, over, doesn't matter what 2 picks you select, $1 to win 3 in a 2-leg parlay, a 2-pick entry. Now on Thrive Fantasy, which is kind of like the budget, it's a little less sexy compared to Underdog Fantasy, but it does the same thing. Any 2 picks you select, you're going to see 1 to win 360. So their payouts are slightly higher. So on Underdog Fantasy, any 2-leg parlay you create is $1 to win 3. On Thrive, it's $1 to win 360. So the payouts are slightly higher. So because the payouts are higher, the juice is lower. So what you're going to notice is Thrive Fantasy in a 2-pick entry, you're getting $1 to win 360, right? You're betting $1 to win 360 for any 2 picks you select, $1 to win 360. So that's just the implied juice, implied odds of minus 111. Now on Underdog, it's minus 137 for a 2-pick entry because you're betting 1 to win 3, right? So it's roughly minus 137 implied odds, 1 to win 3. So long story short, when you're playing on Thrive Fantasy, you assume for a 2-pick entry, you're getting minus 111 juice. So James Harden over 20.5 points seems pretty incredible considering all the bookmakers you can see in the market, they all have the over favored, right? So you'll see right here, OddsJam, millions of odds kind of updating in real time for any sport, any market you want to look at. You want to look at NBA, you want to look at a specific game, get real-time odds from every major sports book, browse them for free. It's 100% free. So all this EV page does is it takes all the data in the market and shows you those few rare betting opportunities that are actually profitable, right? OddsJam just takes all this data from Underdog Fantasy, Thrive Fantasy, all their different betting lines. So here we can see NBA, for example, NHL. OddsJam pulls all this data and then just shows you, hey, here are the biggest line discrepancies and spots with value. So there's no BS, right? James Harden over 20.5 points is clearly a lot of value. DraftKings has this minus 130, Caesars and BetMGM minus 120, minus 125, and then the sharpest bookmaker in the world has this positive EV bet all the way up at minus 152. So in the same way a sharp, or a savvy investor looks for value, they look for cheap stocks that are mispriced, that you can buy cheap because they should be more expensive. It's no different in sports betting. When you're playing on, FanDuel, Underdog, Thrive, it doesn't matter, right? Bogdanovich over 3.5 rebounds is great value, on Underdog Fantasy at minus 122 or on Prize Picks at minus 119 in a 5-pick flex. Why? Because all the sharp bookmakers are pricing it, all the efficient betting markets are pricing it minus 140 to minus 160. So we have all these data points, FanDuel's odds, DraftKings odds, Caesars odds, BetOnline, Pinnacle, all telling us, hey, here's where the line should be set. So all we're doing with this EV betting is we're looking for value. So right here, we can see Lance McCullers under 5.5 strikeouts for the World Series is minus 111 on Thrive. Every sportsbook is pricing this, minus 127 to minus 148. So once again, we're getting a lot of value. So we have 2 sharp bets on Thrive. The first one's more profitable with a 3% profit margin, but the second one, 1.49%. So you end up parlaying them together. And you'll notice on DraftKings, your parlay is 1,000 to win 3.2K. But because we're playing this on Thrive and we're getting such great odds, we're betting 1,000 to win 3.6K, right? $1 to win 360, 1,000 to win 3.6K. On DraftKings, this would only be 1,000 to win 3.184K. So we're getting a ton of value. And again, value beating the market, beating the closing line, is all that matters long term. You're looking for edges. If you're trying to get rich quick sports betting, you're on the wrong channel. This is all about finding edges, extracting them, and making money month over month, right? Growing your bankroll. So hopefully this video was helpful, and let's make some money.